The Trial of the Sword is perhaps the most challenging obstacle in Breath of the Wild. A grueling 3-part gauntlet in which Link is stripped of his hard-earned weapons, armour, bows and shields, forcing him to scavenge gear from fallen foes and invent unique ways to defeat adversaries. The trial was included as the major focus of the first DLC pack, allowing Link to prove his worth and wield the true might of the Master Sword, doubling its power to a formidable 60 damage. The trial itself appears to be a form of Sheikah Shrine, sets of rooms which are constructed from the same smooth alien stone as every trial before, and ending with Link reaching ancient monks to receive his reward. But the Trial of the Sword isn't accessed like a regular shrine, by using the Sheikah Slate to gain access to an elevator, taking him below ground to the trial area. It's instead accessed by placing the Master Sword back into its pedestal in the Korok Forest, which is fitting for a quest to awaken the blade's true power, but strange for a supposedly Sheikah-built trial. Is there something to the Trial of the Sword we're missing? Is it actually real? Or could the entire thing be taking place in a familiar Zelda location from past games? Let's place the Master Sword in its pedestal, and have a closer look at the Trial of the Sword. The Trial of the Sword is split into 3 different parts: beginning trials, middle trials, and final trials. Each part is accessed the same way. By placing the Master Sword back into its pedestal, Link is teleported to the trial via Sheikah Tech. The trial consists of 54 individual floors, packed with a huge amount of enemies, from the lowly red bokoblin all the way up to guardian stalkers and Lynels. But there's a mystery to the Trial of the Sword. If it's a shrine, where is it located? There are areas of the trial which appear to be on the surface, with sunlight spilling down from the skies above, and butterflies and trees growing. Yet we know that it doesn't take place within Hyrule, as when Link enters the trial, the shrine monks refer to the area as an illusory realm of sacred mystery, separate from the reality you know. Is the Trial of the Sword real at all? Is it in an alternate dimension, in a dream, or somewhere we've seen before? What if, when Link places the Master Sword back in its pedestal, he's not teleported to a regular Sheikah shrine, but to the sacred realm itself? The alternate dimension in which the Triforce was once held, the realm in which the Chamber of Sages and the Temple of Light resides, where the Hero of Time was sealed for 7 years. The Sacred Realm has been a concept in the Zelda series ever since A Link to the Past, where it was introduced as the Golden Land in which the Triforce resided. However, it was further explored in Ocarina of Time, where it's revealed to be a form of parallel dimension to Hyrule, connected only by one door between the 2 worlds, found in the Temple of Time. When Link uses the 3 spiritual stones and the Ocarina of Time to open the door, he finds the Master Sword in its pedestal, the final key, and pulling the blade from the stone transports him to the Sacred Realm. The realm was created long ago alongside Hyrule. 3 divine beings known as the Golden Goddesses created the world, the land itself, the laws of science and magic, and all life that would uphold the law. After their work was finished, the goddesses departed for the heavens, leaving 3 golden triangles, the Triforce, at the point where they left the world. This resting place of the Triforce, which was an alternate dimension connected to Hyrule, became known as the Sacred Realm. The goddess Hylia was created by the Golden Goddesses before they departed, a being who was tasked with the protection of the Triforce and the world itself. During a period known as the Era of Chaos after Skyward Sword, Hyrule burned with the fires of war. Rumours of the Sacred Realm and the Triforce caused battles over lust and greed for ultimate power. Rauru, the Sage of Light, placed the Triforce in the Temple of Light, a location at the heart of the Sacred Realm. Within the Temple of Light lies the Chamber of Sages, an ethereal place where sages meet. The Temple of Time was built to protect the only entrance to the realm, and the link between the realms was sealed with multiple keys. So, what are the connections between the Sacred Realm and the Trial of the Sword? First, and most obviously, Both areas are accessed using the Master Sword, a blade which serves as the final key to the Sacred Realm. While in Ocarina of Time the Sacred Realm is accessed by pulling the sword from the pedestal of time, and Breath of the Wild's Trial of the Sword is accessed by returning the sword to the pedestal, this is actually consistent with the Sacred Realm in Skyward Sword. During Skyward Sword, Link is able to access an area known as the Silent Realm, a dimension which parallels the real world, though is stained a ghostly blue. The Silent Realm serves as a trial for the hero set by the goddess Hylia, forcing Link to prove his worth by collecting 15 sacred tears and avoiding the ominous guardians, all while completely stripped of his weapons and equipment. Despite its unique appearance and purpose, there's a strong possibility that the Silent Realm is actually the Sacred Realm in the time of Skyward Sword, as when Link collects the Triforce pieces, parts of an ancient omnipotent relic said to reside within the Sacred Realm, they're found within parts of the Silent Realm in Skyloft. The Silent Realm can be accessed by plunging the Master Sword, or its earlier form the Goddess Sword, into the ground, teleporting Link's spirit to the realm, just like how the Trial of the Sword is accessed, by plunging the Master Sword back into its pedestal in the Korok Forest, resulting in Link being sent to a trial by the goddess Hylia without all of his previously attained weapons and equipment. In addition, the Silent Realm's spectral blue tint and particle effects are mirrored by the Trial of the Sword, where all main combat rooms without an environmental effect like snow, rain or embers are tinged with a blue light, complete with tiny floating particles. But the connections between the Trial of the Sword and the Sacred Realm go much deeper than surface level. The single most interesting area in the trial is the Sword Monk's Shrine, a colossal dome-like Sheikah room which parallels the laboratory found under Hyrule Castle, but without a hint of the stain of Calamity Ganon's malice. This shrine shines a brilliant blue, and is many times larger than Hyrule's laboratory, so large that Link can't reach the outer walls by paragliding. The same illuminated design of Hyrule can be found circling this shrine, and from the opening in the ceiling, a gigantic monk's chamber hangs. 3 smaller platforms connected by floating staircases form a path to the monk's chamber, with the 2 closest to the monks featuring pedestals for the Master Sword, where the blade will be found for the beginning and middle trials respectively. But the final podium is found within the monk's chamber, which is far larger than those found in regular shrines. This chamber contains 7 ancient monks who surround the Master Sword. These 7 Sheikah monks announced that they prepared the Trial of the Sword following a revelation from the goddess Hylia, and that Link's completion of the challenges has proven him truly worthy of the Master Sword. With their task completed, the monks fade away, leaving Link alone with the Blade of Evil's Bane. However, these Sheikah aren't just regular monks. They're all frozen in unique poses, like crossed arms, cupped hands, or tri-beam. And these poses aren't random like many of the regular monks, they're actually the exact same poses used by the sages in Ocarina of Time: Rauru, Darunia, Ruto, Noboru, Impa, and Saria. And not only this, these are the poses used when sealing Ganon within a void in the Sacred Realm. The only monk who doesn't fit is the leading monk, sat on the highest pedestal, who just holds his hand in the shape of an equilateral triangle. Could these Sheikah monks, after a revelation from the goddess Hylia, have built a trial for the hero within the Sacred Realm, accessible only with its key, the Master Sword? It wouldn't be the first time that Hylia had used this holy dimension to challenge a hero, as the Silent Realm's sole purpose was to force Link to prove his courage in order to forge the Master Sword. The area in which the monks reside appears to be a form of Sheikah-built Chamber of Sages, housing Sheikah monks who represent the sages themselves, with the 7th holding a commanding position like Princess Zelda. It's incredibly reminiscent of the Chamber of Sages' most recent appearance in A Link Between Worlds, which featured the same design of floating platforms connected by staircases. This wouldn't be the first time the Sheikah have constructed their own variants of sacred constructs, as the ancient arrows themselves appear to be Sheikah imitations of light arrows, one of only 3 things able to wound Dark Beast Ganon alongside the Master Sword and true light arrows themselves. It's not just a coincidence that the monks imitate the poses of the sages. Sages across the Zelda series are known to be closely linked with the power of the Master Sword. Twilight Princess's Zelda claims that the ancient sages were the ones who created the blade, a statement which at first appears to be contradicted by Skyward Sword, where we see Link himself forge the sword from the original Goddess Sword. However, although we know that Hylia created this original blade, it could be the case that it was forged with the help of the sages, as their emblems can be seen in the Temple of Hylia, confirming that they existed ages before even Skyward Sword. This would tie into Sahasrarla's explanation of the sword's creation in A Link to the Past, claiming that the sages, following a divine message from God, created a sword that could repel the power of even the Triforce wielded by evil. In the Wind Waker too, sages have been seen to power the Master Sword, with the prayers of the sages of Earth and Wind directly giving the blade its sacred power to repel evil. Could these Sheikah monks, the creators of the Trial of the Sword, have been tasked with the very same role? Acting as sages, could they have constructed a trial for the hero within the sacred realm itself, awaiting his arrival with a chamber of sages they themselves built? However, there are a few issues. If the Silent Realm, the Sacred Realm and the Trial of the Sword are all the same place, why is Link only able to access the Silent Realm with his spirit, with even the Master Sword and Fi not being able to travel with him? It's likely that this is a limitation imposed by the goddess Hylia, as in Ocarina of Time we can see that Link is able to access the Sacred Realm alongside all of his equipment, including the Master Sword. If the Trial of the Sword does take place within the Sacred Realm, why is it full of monsters? Lynels, Bokoblins, Hinoxen, Guardians burning pink with Ganon's malice? Surely enemies like these wouldn't appear within the Sacred Realm. Except that these enemies aren't real. We know that Sheikah monks are masters of illusion. Monk Mazkoshia is able to create corporeal, tangible clones of himself which can deal full damage to Link, yet aren't real. Just like these copies, every enemy found within the Trial of the Sword shares a unique trait. They don't drop items. Aside from the equipment they're using, like arrows or shields or swords, the enemies slain within the Trial of the Sword will not drop their regular loot. Bokoblins won't drop horns, fangs or guts. Hinoxen won't drop toenails or teeth. Even Guardians won't drop their various machinery parts. It's because, like the sword monks say, it's an illusion. The enemies found within aren't real. They're simply Sheikah illusions created to challenge Link. It's possible that, with the Trial of the Sword, we don't just enter another Sheikah shrine. By placing the blade back in its pedestal, Link is transported to another dimension, the ancient resting place of the Triforce, an illusory realm of sacred mystery. The Sacred Realm, accessed with the final key, within which ancient Sheikah monks, tasked with the roles of sages, awaited the hero's triumph over their challenge. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like or subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content. This video was based on a suggestion from Kimble Peterson, who pointed out connections between the Trial of the Sword and the Sacred Realm to me. So a huge shout out to Kimble. If you'd like to leave a video suggestion, my website zeltic.co.uk has a dedicated suggestions page. And also a shout out to Camuilin on Reddit for pointing out the connection between the monks and the sages poses. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.